Greetings! In this video, I'm going to provide advice on performing the Etude in A minor on page 81 of the Christopher Parkening Classical Guitar Method, Volume 1. I'm going to be largely focusing on right-hand fingerings. So just a couple of basics before we dive into the specifics of this piece. If we have a straight wrist like I do here, then my fingers naturally align to 3 different strings, which is great for playing arpeggios. But if I let my hand get pulled down by gravity, then now my fingers are aligning to 1 string. So if I wanted to do something like that, well, I want to have my hand at this angle. But if I want something like that, then I need to bring up my hand. So if you're having trouble bumping the wrong string, a lot of it has to do with positioning. Here's another example in which positioning comes into play. Let's say I want to play just the 3rd string. Well, if I let my hand drop and I play at this angle, here I'm doing just the 3rd string. Now if I go too far toward the floor, I start to bump the B string, the 2nd string also. If I'm too far toward the ceiling, I bump the D string, which is also useful if you want to. There are passages where you might play 2 strings really quickly, but it doesn't come up a lot. But bear in mind that if you're bumping an extra string, it's not that you need to execute more precision in your stroke. It's more a positioning issue. Just move your hand a little bit, and you'll see that it's going to make a lot of your bumping extra strings go away. But we have to get used to shifting between positions with our right hand. So if I'm doing a C major scale, I'm going to shift, 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 shift. Ooh, don't forget about E. So I would encourage you, go ahead and just watch my right hand and watch how I make little shifts. It's not a gradual slide, it's shift, shift, shift. I also like to place my thumb on the next string down, and what it does is it can mute on the way up, but it just gives me a lot of stability and makes sure I don't get any sound out of that next lower string. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and look at this piece. So we start out with 2 notes on 1 string. So right here, I'm tilted down a little bit, and then I turn my hand up. I'm going to do it faster. See how I'm going from tilted down to straightened out. So now when I get to that end of the 2nd full measure, I'm tilted toward the floor because I'm doing a sort of alternation, and then I go back to an arpeggio. We need to get our hand used to this type of extra movement. It's extra, but it's going to improve your accuracy. Tilted down, and then arpeggio position. Tilt, arpeggio position, tilt. It can sound really nice to pop those, make them short. And it's pretty much the same for the whole next section after that. When we get down to the 5th line of music, same thing, we're tilted, so we can grab that E string twice. Tilt, grab that scale. Now these get a little nasty. Here's how I recommend playing this gesture. My personal preference is to alternate my middle and index finger until I get to the open G. So I'm going to be in this tilted down position. And then what I do is I turn and I can align all 4 digits here, each to a string. So I am walking down, and then when I do that, I can even kind of snap my ring finger onto that open G. And this is impossible to miss once you're locked in. So it's low C, and then tilted down, I'm playing as though I'm playing a scale. Tilt, and then just do an arpeggio in position. If you do that, that's what I consider to be the most stable way. I get consistent results with that, so I really like that fingering. this one's a little weird. What I like to do is alternate as though I'm doing a scale. I'm just going to be tilted down, alternating for this F, D, B, because it's just on two adjacent strings, so it's an easy shift to make. G with my thumb, F, D, B, and then for the C, I'm going to turn back up and just align these 4 digits again to the middle 4 strings. And if you try that from the end, that's easy. Once those fingers are aligned as though you're playing an arpeggio, that's a cinch. And then to just add a step backward, I'm tilted, and then I tilt up and grab it with my ring finger. So tilted down, alternating as in I'm alternating between my index and middle finger. Alternating, tilt up, and arpeggio. Let's look at the last 2 lines. I like to bring my index finger up to grab that guy. This one's pretty easy. Going up from C, C, G, C, E, I'm still in arpeggio. And then what I do is I just sneak an index finger in here, and then the rest is these 3 fingers still in arpeggio position. So middle or index finger can play this D, and then the rest of it is just all in arpeggio. Middle or index, everything else in arpeggio. So ascending arpeggio, add a stroke, and then just arpeggio down. Moving forward. And that's pretty straightforward. I know that that's a lot of different right-hand fingerings to memorize, but it's worth the effort. It'll help you to smooth it out and take it to higher speeds. So if you're having trouble with your accuracy, try implementing those. If you find something else that works well for you, I'd love to hear about it, and feel free to drop me a comment or send me a link to a video of your own. I'd love to see what solutions work well for you. A lot of these weird little situations, you can just do a lot of extra little shifts, but the more shifts we make, the more opportunities we have for introducing inaccuracy. It's sort of like some fingerings people will come up with, they'll do a shift, shift, shift. And to have to do 2 or 3 rapid shifts in succession just destabilizes our fingerings. So oftentimes we want to find a way to stay in one position, at least for a beat, and then shift, and then shift, and then shift, rather than shift, shift. So watch out for how much you shift. If you put too many in a small time frame, it will cause you to make more mistakes. And look for other possibilities. Thank you very much for watching. If you find this helpful, I would encourage you to like and subscribe. It'll help others to find it as well. God bless.